Karoline Leavitt's simple response to a young girl will leave you in tears. It was an unassuming Tuesday morning when Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary of the United States, found herself in a situation that would prove to be one of the most heartwarming moments of her career. The White House had organized a routine community outreach event. Nothing out of the ordinary. The press was in attendance, the security was tight, and the crowd was a mixture of excited students, families, and local leaders. As the event went on, Karoline, dressed in a simple navy blue blouse and a modest skirt, mingled with the crowd, taking time to speak with various people who had come to learn more about the administration's efforts. But then, out of the corner of her eye, she noticed a young girl, no older than 8 or 9, standing apart from the crowd. Her name was Lily. She had bright green eyes that sparkled with curiosity, her brown hair tied up in 2 playful pigtails. Clutched in her hands was a slightly worn, red notebook, her most treasured possession. She wasn't like the others. The excitement and energy of the event seemed to bypass her, as if she was lost in her own world. Karoline was drawn to her, not just because of her unusual stillness, but because there was something quietly urgent in the way she looked around, almost as though she was waiting for someone or something. The press secretary walked over to her, smiling warmly. "Hi there," Karoline said, crouching down to meet Lily's gaze. "What's your name?" Lily blinked at her, surprised, and then shyly answered, "I'm Lily." "Well, it's lovely to meet you, Lily," Karoline replied, her smile genuine and kind. "And what's it you've got there? Looks like an important notebook." Lily hesitated for a moment before opening it slightly to reveal a list of names that seemed to go on for pages. Karoline raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What's this?" Karoline asked, her voice gentle. Lily took a deep breath. "It's my list of people I want to thank," she said quietly, a slight tremor in her voice. "I've been writing it for a long time, but I don't know how to say thank you to everyone. Some of them have helped my family, and others, they just make me feel safe, you know?" Karoline's heart softened at the words. She had seen so many people come and go from these events, so many issues discussed in large, bold terms. But here was a young girl with a notebook full of simple, heartfelt gratitude. The world of politics, so often loud and brash, had rarely given her a chance to truly hear something so pure. "Who are some of the people on your list?" Karoline asked, leaning in a little closer. Lily's eyes brightened as she spoke. "There's my teacher, Mrs. Carter, because she helps me when I'm confused. And there's my neighbor, Mr. Johnson, because he always makes sure my mom is okay. And my mom, of course. She works hard to take care of us." Karoline smiled, moved by the innocence and selflessness in Lily's words. "That's a wonderful list, Lily. It sounds like you've got a lot of amazing people around you." Lily nodded, her cheeks turning pink. I want to make sure they all know I appreciate them." For a moment, there was a quiet between them. Karoline, who had spent so much of her life speaking in front of crowds, dealing with the politics of the world, found herself at a loss for words. But then, looking at Lily's hopeful face, something shifted. Karoline knew exactly what to say. "You know," Karoline said softly, her voice filled with warmth, "sometimes we don't have to say thank you in big ways. A simple note, a small gesture, it can make all the difference. You're already doing something wonderful by thinking about them, by carrying them with you in your heart. That's what matters." Lily's eyes widened, and she glanced down at her notebook. "You really think so?" Karoline nodded, her smile gentle. "Absolutely. And when you have a chance, maybe you could write them a little note or tell them how you feel. But remember, just because you don't say it in a big way doesn't mean it's not meaningful." The young girl's expression softened, a spark of hope and relief crossing her face. "I think I will. I'll write them a note, just like you said." Karoline felt a lump form in her throat as she watched Lily's face light up with a new sense of purpose. It was a moment so simple, yet resonated with something so much deeper. In a world full of noise and complexity, this small interaction, a genuine exchange of kindness, was enough to change everything for this little girl. And for Karoline, It was a reminder that even in the most unexpected places, simple acts of love and gratitude could make the most profound impact. As the event came to a close, Karoline leaned in one last time. "Thank you, Lily, for sharing your list with me. You're going to do great things, and those people on your list are lucky to have you in their lives." Lily's smile was the brightest Karoline had seen that day, and for the first time that morning, she felt truly fulfilled, not by the speeches or the media coverage, but by the simple connection she had made with a young girl who reminded her of the power of gratitude, of kindness, and of the simplest, yet most powerful, human emotions. As the weeks passed, the impact of Karoline's brief interaction with Lily lingered in her mind. She had attended countless meetings, answered endless questions from the press, and navigated the complexities of political life. But there was something about the way Lily's eyes lit up when Karoline spoke to her that stayed with her. It was as if, in that small moment, the world of politics, power, and policies had melted away, and something much more human had taken its place. Lily's simple act of gratitude and her desire to say thank you to the people who mattered most to her had struck a chord deep within Karoline. It reminded her that the core of everything she was doing, whether in the White House or out in the public eye, was about making a difference in the lives of individuals, no matter how small the gesture. But Karoline wasn't the only one who had been moved by that interaction. Back in Lily's small town, word had begun to spread about the exchange. It had started with a few parents at the local school who had overheard their children talking about the meeting between the press secretary and the young girl. Soon, it spread through the local community, and before long, Lily's story had gone viral. It wasn't long before news outlets, both local and national, began covering the heartwarming moment. Karoline Leavitt's simple words of encouragement had not only changed Lily's outlook, but had also sparked a wave of kindness across the country. Lily's teacher, Mrs. Carter, shared the story with the local news, proudly talking about how the young girl had been inspired by Karoline's message. Lily's family, too, had been deeply affected. Her mother, who had struggled for years as a single parent, found herself reflecting on the power of gratitude and how simple acts of kindness could change lives. Lily's father, who had been working long hours to make ends meet, came home one evening with a newfound sense of appreciation. "I think we all forget sometimes," he said to his wife, "how important it is to show people we care. We just get caught up in the hustle." The ripple effect of Karoline's words had reached far beyond the White House. The message wasn't just about writing a thank you note. It was about seeing the goodness in others, acknowledging it, and letting people know they matter. Meanwhile, Karoline continued her work, but she couldn't help but notice the small shifts in how people interacted with her. When she stepped into the press room one morning, she was met with a warmth she hadn't expected. Even the reporters, who often grilled her on policy matters, were softer in their approach. They had heard about the exchange with Lily, and it seemed that something about her simple act of kindness had reminded them of the human side of politics. But there was one encounter in particular that Karoline wouldn't soon forget. One evening, as she was leaving the office, she received a call from an unknown number. At first, she hesitated, unsure if it was just another politician or reporter. But she answered anyway. "Hello. Hi. Is this Karoline Leavitt?" a young, trembling voice asked. "This is she," Karoline replied, curious. "Hi. My name is Lily. You probably don't remember me, but we met at that event. I just wanted to say thank you." Karoline smiled, instantly recognizing the voice. "Of course I remember you, Lily. How are you?" "I'm doing really good now," Lily said, her voice more confident than it had been when they first met. "I wrote thank you notes to everyone on my list. And guess what? Mr. Johnson, my neighbor, said he was really happy I did that. He said it made his day. And my mom, she said I made her proud." Karoline felt a lump form in her throat as she listened to Lily's words. "I'm so proud of you, Lily. You've made a difference just by saying thank you. You've shown people that it's the little things that count." Lily paused for a moment, then said, "I just wanted to thank you, Karoline. You taught me something really important. You made me realize that the little things we do can help change the world. And that's something I want to remember forever." Tears welled up in Karoline's eyes. She hadn't expected such an emotional response, but in that moment, she realized how much of an impact one simple exchange had made. She had been so focused on the day-to-day grind of her job, the policies, the speeches, the meetings. But this was real. This was something that mattered more than anything else. "You're going to do great things, Lily," Karoline said, her voice filled with emotion. "You already are." As the conversation ended, Karoline sat back in her chair, the weight of what had just transpired sinking in. It wasn't the press conferences, the policy battles, or the media coverage that truly mattered. It was the moments like this, when a simple act of kindness, a few words of encouragement, could change the trajectory of someone's life. For the first time in a long while, Karoline realized that the true power of her position wasn't just about influencing policy. It was about inspiring people, big and small, to be their best selves and to make the world a better place, one kind gesture at a time. And as she left the office that night, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that sometimes the most powerful change starts with something as simple as a thank you. The impact of Karoline's conversation with Lily was far greater than she could have imagined. What had started as a simple, heartfelt exchange had grown into something much bigger, touching lives beyond her expectations. Lily's small act of gratitude had rippled throughout her town, inspiring people to express their thanks in ways they hadn't before. The local community came together, with families and teachers encouraging their children to write thank you notes. The movement, born from one young girl's desire to express appreciation, soon became a symbol of kindness, echoing throughout the nation. Lily's mother, proud of her daughter, was moved by how such a simple action had sparked a change not only in their lives, but in the lives of others. As Lily shared her thank you notes with her family, she noticed a shift in her relationships with the people around her. Her neighbor, Mr. Johnson, was visibly touched when he received her note. "This made my day," he told her, his voice filled with genuine emotion. "You're a wise young lady, Lily. I wish more people would take the time to thank others like you have." Lily's father, who worked long hours to support the family, also reflected on the power of gratitude. He had always been focused on providing for his family, but now he realized the importance of showing appreciation for the little things. At dinner one evening, he spoke up. "We get so caught up in work and responsibilities, but a simple thank you, just acknowledging someone's effort, goes a long way. I think I'm going to try doing that more." Across the country, Karoline's simple response to Lily had become a viral story, picked up by news outlets, shared on social media, and discussed at dinner tables. Karoline found herself at the center of attention, not for her political achievements or her public service, but for something much more personal, her ability to connect with a young girl and show her the power of kindness. Karoline's words weren't just remembered. They were shared, they inspired, and they created a movement of gratitude. But Karoline didn't seek the attention. She wasn't interested in the headlines. It was the quiet moments that mattered to her, the times when she could genuinely impact someone's life without the world watching. However, she couldn't ignore the fact that her simple gesture had created a wave of positive change, and it left her with a renewed sense of purpose. One evening, as Karoline was finishing a long day of meetings and press conferences, she received an unexpected phone call. It was from Lily. "Hi, Karoline," Lily said, her voice filled with excitement. "Hey, Lily, how are you?" Karoline asked, smiling at the sound of the familiar voice. "I'm great," Lily said eagerly. "I just wanted to tell you something. My mom is going to send you something in the mail soon. It's something I've been working on for a while." Karoline raised an eyebrow in curiosity. "What is it?" "Well, I wrote a thank you letter to you," Lily exclaimed. "You really made me realize how important it is to show appreciation. I just wanted to say thank you for what you said to me. You changed the way I think about things, and I'm really grateful for that." Karoline's heart warmed as she listened to Lily. "That's so kind of you, Lily. But I think you've done something far more important by writing those thank you notes. You're teaching people all around you the value of gratitude." Lily paused for a moment, then said, "I think we've both learned a lot." Karoline smiled. "Yes, I think we have." Days later, Karoline received Lily's handwritten letter. The small note was filled with words of thanks, written with the same sincerity and kindness that had made their interaction so special. Karoline held the letter in her hands, feeling the weight of the simple but profound words that had the power to change the way she viewed her work and the world. As Karoline read the letter, tears filled her eyes. She hadn't expected this kind of recognition, nor had she realized just how much one moment could impact someone's life. It was a reminder that the real work of leadership wasn't about policies or press conferences. It was about the small, personal connections that had the power to touch hearts and change the world. Karoline placed the letter in her drawer, her heart full. She knew that while her job as press secretary was important, it was the moments like this, when she could make a difference in someone's life through kindness and understanding, that truly mattered. And as she moved forward with her work, she carried the lessons of gratitude and humility with her, knowing that the smallest acts of kindness could leave a lasting impact.